All right.
What up? What up? Episode 82 of the PR Project. Welcome back, everyone. Um, what's up, Gary? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. It's been a day. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could go many ways, but
it
I
could.
agree. It is
Well,
indeed a day. How was your run? I saw that you did, I think, 8 miles, 10 miles, something like that.
I did 10 today, and I really been focusing. I really been focusing on strength training this week. Trying to get
Mhm.
this performance issue going, and I might have overdid it yesterday. And I'm just doing like Peloton stuff, just stuff in the house. Nothing's crazy, and my legs were so heavy today. I felt like the last 10 miles of a marathon that you bunk,
Mhm.
like that's how the whole run felt. You know, sometimes you pick it up for like 30 seconds, like, oh, okay, everything's fine. And then you're like, no, it's not fine.
Yeah,
So,
I've been there before, especially when I first start back strength training, and like you kind of shock your muscles a little bit, and you carry that soreness for a few days. It's tough. It's
yeah.
tough to get out there and uh, feel like you belong on the run. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm slogging through.
I'm not even sore. Like, I'm still dealing with the piriformis issue, right? Which is separate. It's not even soreness. It's just like your legs are just like, give us a break, bud.
Yeah.
Like, this is, there's no reason for you to be doing 10 miles right now, which is the main goal over like the strength. I mean, strength training is important, but I just didn't incorporate it well this week. Whereas, I'm just so focused on getting healthy and
Yeah.
getting this injury taken care of that I kind of overshot a little bit, but we'll get there. The balance will come.
Yeah. And sometimes we get caught up. We want it too bad. We just want it too
Right.
bad. And we want it to be ready right now. But it's like, it's okay. It's going to take some time. And you've already kind of accepted the fact that you won't be doing much racing anytime soon. So I think that helps as well to just say, I'm going to let things develop how they are intended to, and I'm not going to force it, and I'm not going to try to do anything too fast. So yeah, as long as you keep that perspective that you'll be back to full health at some point, and it doesn't have to be tomorrow, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. But today was kind of a bummer because I did do a decent workout on Wednesday or Thursday, a 3 mile progression, and that went really well. So it's one of those, you get your hopes up, like, oh, things on the right track, and then bam, not
Yeah,
so fast, buddy.
it's like I'm
So,
back. I'm back. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not a one workout thing. It's being able to stack those days on top of each other and eventually get back to form. So you're on the right track. Just gotta
yeah,
keep
it's just
at it.
patience, as in all things running, is key.
I
So,
agree. I agree.
did you had
100%.
a big one today, right? You did 16, like a kind of not a marathon prep per se, but like a good, like targeted long run.
Yeah. The plan, according to my schedule, was to just do 16 miles long run, easy to long run pace, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I know how that goes.
I only had and pardon me as I adjust my camera, but I only had one workout this week. So I'm not sure why that I didn't ask my coach, but Wednesday was my workout. It went well. It was a good workout. So I said, I could probably get a little active in the long run if something comes up. And something did come up. Mike Berry pulled up and he ran with me and earned. And Mike Berry is a very outstanding runner. He's super fit and he's got years and years of fitness on him. So, at some point I looked down at my watch and we were under 6-minute pace. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're here. And I don't want to blame him for that because I probably had parts in it too. But I kind of had in my mind that I wanted to try a fast finish. So we finished pretty fast.
That's awesome because I remember you and I. What we did a tempo, or we did 2x3 or something like that a while back, and we finished sub 5.
Yeah,
and it was way too early for that at that time.
I remember the exact workout you're talking about. It was 6 by 1 mile actually, And
Is that what it was?
that
Okay.
last mile, we just like ripped it. We just
Yeah.
went for it, and we were running by DTE Energy, workers. I remember that so vividly because we were just like ripping it down this street, and it was like during the time of you guys were dealing with like blackouts over by you,
That's right.
and they were out working on the power lines and stuff, and we were just like ripping it. And I'm just like, these people are looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah, I remember you said. I think the quote was, "Damn it, Gary, what are we doing?"
I didn't blame you, but I wanted to let you know that I was aware that we are probably doing stupid stuff right now. But
Yeah.
But
And I think I also in the middle of that run, I think I also did run out into traffic as well. So
that's very on brand for you.
yes,
Very on brand for you. But we've made it 6 minutes into the episode, and we have yet to address the elephant in the room. Tommy Runs, unfortunately, is not with us. He is in the chat. A big shout out to Tommy Runs in the chat. But I believe he is somewhere hovering over the southeastern portion of the United States. He's traveling. He had I think he went to Savannah this weekend and also went to Charlottesville for Prolific's 5-year anniversary. So unfortunately, he's one of the victims of the Microsoft failed update. And
AKA what happened, Ern?
Right. Exactly. So, we have no Tommy Runs with us for now, but he may pop in at some point. We shall see. But if not, it's just me and Gary and no script. So we're just riffing. So if you ran today, drop in the chat where you ran, drop what you ran. Let us know, give us some ideas on things to talk about. But if not, we'll just chop it up about running. We'll just chop it up about what we've got going on. And look, there he is right there.
Yep.
He said, this is really all Ern's fault. Because if anything ever happens at the airport, even if you aren't flying with the specific airline that shall not be named, it's right. Ern's fault.
We will name them if they sponsor some travel for our runs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no free ads here.
No free clout. No free clout. Let's see. Mark says, riff away. Slow build each week on the way to Chicago. Salute. I've actually been very comfortable with the weather lately. And it's crazy because it hasn't been like super cool. It's only been a little cooler than what we've been dealing with. But either I'm getting fitter or I'm getting acclimated to the heat, or high 70s is like a large leap from low 80s or mid 80s.
Yeah, but I mean, heat acclimation's real, too. But yes, it's been cooler. But I think also I know you and the rest of the team have been putting in a lot of like summer miles, like hot weather summer miles, and it's starting to pay off. For sure.
For sure. And I'm thankful because sometimes I get in my head about my ability to perform in warm conditions. So the fact that I am hitting these paces and just feeling good doing them and not feeling like I'm just like killing myself, it's promising. It's very promising.
I had a PT treatment earlier this week, and it was the dry needling and what I do. But before she does that portion of the PT work, she has me do like real like exercises, and she pulled out something this week I've never seen before. She had me, those heart pressure sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
So she put that around the leg that's injured, and squeezed it and then hit the pressure button. So like it was taking my pulse per se, and then I had to get on one of those doctor stools with the wheels and go around the room, like just using my heels to take me around the room until I couldn't go anymore. And then she'd go, okay, now rest for 30 seconds and do it again. It was crazy. And then they went and they started doing the dry needling stuff. It worked, but they find new ways to find ways to torture you in these PT things. It's unreal.
What was the goal of putting you on this stool and making you look foolish.
The goal was to break it down. The goal was to get it as fatigued as possible, to then try and build the muscle back up. So it hurt really bad, and it took me a few minutes to kind of get up and learn how to walk for a second, but I felt a difference. Everything's starting to come back a little more, like the muscles starting to tighten up again, but it gave me a window as to what's needed. So now I'm doing my strength training and stuff before I run to warm that muscle up and kind of get it more fatigued. So when I do go out, I don't feel quite as uncomfortable as I have been these past couple of weeks. So
that's interesting. But that makes sense to push the muscle to failure before treating it. I guess it gives a better representation of how you may feel in a run or like in a workout.
Yeah.
To actually see where, like you are at that point when you start feeling the discomfort or the pain. So
it was definitely different.
That's interesting. So Maurice says he ran 12 miles and think I caught mild heat exhaustion. Had the wildest of dreams post run. That's interesting because I also like when I take the nap, the post long run nap, the dreams are like super vivid sometimes. It's like, what is my body trying to tell me right now? Like, is my body not a fan of these stupid runs? Like, it's crazy. But be careful out there. Mild heat exhaustion. I think Maurice, you're in the DC area, right? So I know you guys have been really getting like hit hard with the heat lately. So I think I saw some 100 degree days out there. So that's scary. So yeah, man, stay safe out there. It's really tricky to try to make that work.
That's a new term. I haven't heard that before. Mild heat exhaustion. Just a little bit, not too much.
Malik says he got in 14 miles this afternoon. Good work.
Malik ran a pretty good 10K on Saturday as well. So
yeah. He actually won Escape to Belle Isle, the 10K. So kudos to you, Malik. You are a living embodiment of the Summer of Speed,
right.
Powered by Puma. Shameless plug there. But yeah, you're killing it this summer. So shout out to you. I look forward to seeing what else you got coming up, especially in the fall.
For sure.
Mark says, do you guys do anything special to try and improve sleep quality?
I wish I had a good answer for this. Like I used to try and do the Cherry Bundy sleep, but I feel like magnesium or what's it called? Is it magnesium? No.
Yeah.
It's, whatever it is, it makes me groggy. If and I tend to be going to bed later than most people do. So like taking any sort of melatonin or anything like that, I feel like it just doesn't help me for the next day.
Yeah. Me, I try to get in bed and get my full 8 hours. I've kind of been slacking off. I need to keep the phone out of the bed. That is on my bucket list of things to get done. But unfortunately, my sleep hygiene hasn't been the greatest as of late. So we're going to work on that. And Tommy says, I've been using mouth tape. Been feeling great. I mean, torturing yourself, I guess. I guess.
I think you got to keep that personal stuff to yourself sometimes, Tommy.
Yeah, let's keep it PG in here, man. Sleep is I'm usually decent with getting the right amounts of sleep, but I'm always down for an improvement on my sleep quality. Sleep is an important unlock when it comes to recovery, and if you can recover well, you can train harder and you can perform well. So definitely an integral part of the training process. Big shout out to Steve. Steve says 5K personal best for him on Saturday. Shout out, Steve. That's what's up. We love a good PR or a PB.
Yep. Congrats.
Congratulations. I'm sure it felt good to get out there and run the fastest 5,000 meters that you've ran in your life. That's always a big accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because it's been hot. I mean, again, I'm sure you're acclimated to the heat, which helped quite a bit. But that's good stuff. Um, Going back to this mouth tape real quick. I get the concept. You're supposed to breathe out of your nose. And it helps with. It probably helps with your running as well. You see like especially the sprinters. None of them open their mouth. That's
Yeah.
all nose breathing. I can't keep that. I can't like not have. I can't have stuff on me,
Yeah.
especially like something's gonna block my breathing. I know it's you probably if you do it well enough, you do it well enough, you get used to it. But I just can't imagine those first couple nights of being gagged essentially.
So the thing with me, my allergies are pretty bad, and I always have issues breathing out of my nose in the first place. So I feel like if I tape my mouth, I might die.
Yeah,
And I feel
yeah.
like dying is not like ideal.
I think your mild heat exhaustion dreams step up a level when when you're not breathing the way you're normally used to, especially
Yeah,
at night when you're trying to sleep.
yeah, for sure.
So
Tommy says, "You know how claustrophobic I am. I thought I'd trip out, but it's cool. Maybe it's just like being in the backseat of a truck with like 6 people, and like you're in the third row. That might just be the kind of claustrophobic you are, sir. But the mouth
yeah,
tape is fine. Who knows? Um,
I'm glad it's working for you.
yeah, it's cool. I'll
You wore that on the airplane. I think you said you wore that on the airplane too, which has got to freak some people out.
What kind of statement is this guy making?
He won't wear a mask, but he'll wear a mouth tape.
Maybe that's how we could have avoided the pandemic if everybody just taped their mouths closed.
Oh, for sure. Could avoid a lot of things.
Forced sleep apnea is what Steve called it. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He did it on an international flight. Yeah, you trying to get on a no flight list.
I'd rather do that though than that whole raw dogging thing. Have you seen those?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's just it sounds like the worst. And one, I think it's fake. But two, it just sounds like the worst idea ever. I can't imagine.
So I've been thinking lately, like how much free time we had, like how much free, like unstimulated time that we had in the past as humans. Like
Yeah.
there was this lull between like when we no longer had to like forage and search for our own food to like when the cell phone came out, like or even like before the before
But that's
look,
what it's called.
it's what they calling it, bro.
They call it raw dogging, not dogging.
It derives from the same idea, but yeah, and if you guys haven't heard, it's basically these guys say they get on the flight and on the screen in front of them they just put the flight tracker and they don't do anything else. No headphones, no movie, no cell phone, just eyes on the flight tracker and pain and like trauma from their childhood for the whole flight. It's insane. Like who would subject themselves? But what I was saying, like before the radio or like TV was invented, like you just had to like sit with your thoughts. Or if you had like friends, you could sit with your friends. But like there was so much idle time for humans at some point. And we filled up like all of this idle time with like weird stimulus, like doom scrolling or just like mindlessly watching TV or playing video games.
It's almost the same thing, right?
I think
It's almost the same thing though. It's just your mind is probably just scrambled with just nothing but like white noise while you're doom scrolling. It's just a different version of it.
Yeah. That's why when people yell about like, oh, these kids are always on their phone, it's like you watch 12 hours of TV a day.
Yeah.
Is there really a difference?
You went from the morning news to Price is Right to all your stories and back to the evening news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You just can't turn the channel like you used to.
Exactly. Well, the channel just turns from scrolling. So like,
right.
TikTok, every TikTok is a channel now. So we've got way more opportunity to scroll. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
What
not
does that have
one.
to
I
do
can't
with
do
running? Who knows? But
it.
but no, I have to be. There's no way I would be able to go a whole flight without my phone. Like
Mm-mm. Or a book. I mean, like even a book, man, like a magazine, in-flight magazine, whatever. You know.
these people reading the manual. They're reading the flight manual. They know everything about the plane.
I am gonna do every crossword in this magazine and learn how to do Sudoku.
Oh, so let's see. Where can we go with this? How was your week, Gary? So you did your workout on Wednesday, 3-mile progression. You nailed it. I saw it. I think you went 6:39, 6:20. No, 6:49, 6:39. No, 6:39, 6:29, 6:19 was the
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
And I think you nailed it. So how did that go? How did you feel after? Let's hear about it.
I I felt really great. It was one of those runs that I've been having where the first couple of steps, I'm dealing with this again, this hamstring piriformis thing. But the first couple of steps didn't feel like a bad at all. I had on the Puma Fast R Nitro 2s. So the one that looked like a bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really, they're funky looking, but I do like the shoe. I did my 2 mile warm up and then just kind of found a quiet spot before I started, talk to myself, just, like I usually do before these workouts, where I just kind of give myself a little pump up talk and say, this is what you're supposed to do. Don't go any faster. Don't go any slower. Just kind of stick to what you're supposed to be doing. And I had not done tempo work since really before Eugene. So it was kind of fun to get out there and stretch and, go fast for a bit. I did the 10 by 30-second fartlek, 2 weeks ago. And that was fine. But it wasn't like the feeling of going fast because you're only going for such short snippets of time. So being able to go out there and do 3 straight miles at a faster clip, and for the most part, really kind of stick to the plan. I was, we went from 6:39 to 6:41, which is my first mile. 6:29 was 6:27, and then 6:19 was 6:12. But I was so happy with what I was doing and how the rest of the workout went that I was okay going a little bit hot than I needed to be. And my legs felt great afterwards, which is the funny thing. No matter what happens after I do a run, like even after this slow ass 10 mile, my legs felt great afterwards because everything was all warmed up and working well. So I felt great. I felt as good as I had felt in terms of like a good workout in a long time. Like I was like really feeling really happy with everything. So again, I know I need to like have some patience and kind of keep everything in perspective, but I think things are going in the right direction. It's just a matter of how well I can manage, the PT and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. That's good news. And as far as like the days after the workout, did you run on Thursday or Friday or?
Yeah, so the workout happened to be Wednesday because I got the PT work on Tuesday, and I emailed my coach and I said I'm not running today. I'm not running today because it was sore. Like I was beat up pretty good, and so we pushed everything back. But then my Friday one went great. Saturday and today legs felt a little bit heavy, but I'm still kind of again experimenting, trying to find the balance between strength training and getting my leg warmed up and not doing too much strength training, but still keeping that as a high priority. So it's just a balance thing as I work through the rest of this for sure. So, and then I go back in a week from Tuesday. So, yeah. What about you? What was your workout?
So I had 3x2K, and I did that on the track. So it was interesting because 3 or 4 weeks ago, on a Saturday, I had 2x2K at the same effort. It was like threshold pace or whatever. And I got halfway through the second interval and I pulled the plug because I was just like dying. So I was a little nervous that might happen again. And I didn't feel great in my warm up. It felt sometimes in a warm up, you just feel kind of nasty. It's just like, my legs don't feel the greatest. Like, I don't know what this is going to be. But once I got into the actual like substance portion, it felt really good. I felt strong. But I wanted to make sure that I was not getting ahead of myself in the first couple intervals. So the first one, I think I pretty much nailed it, or maybe like 2 seconds too fast or something like that. And then it was like a 3-minute recovery, and then another another one that was pretty much right on the nail. It might have been a couple seconds faster than the first one. And then the last one, I'm just like, okay, like I can, if I feel good in the last lap, then I'll push it. But if not, I'll just finish it out and even and just try to do it that way. But I felt good, and I ripped the last lap faster than any of the other laps that I did for the entire workout. So that felt great. It was also really cool because we were at the track, and there was this guy. He was there training 3 super young kids, probably like couldn't have been more than 10 years old. And they were like ripping like 200s and like 400s. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Cause like, I couldn't even imagine like doing those kind of workouts when I was that age, but like he was putting them right there on the 200. All right, let's get ready to go. 3, 2, 1. And they're like pushing. And
that's awesome.
They did a 400, and I was in the middle of my 2K, and they just happened to like I kind of fell in line with them. They were running like the pace that I was running. And I'm just like, this is really cool. Like I salute to them. And then their coach took them over to the football field, and they ran stairs, and then they came back to the track and did like mountain climbers and push-ups. And I'm just like, oh, these kids are like legit. Like they're really like on it, and he's really like pushing them. So that was super cool. And to see like kids doing active stuff outside it was refreshing to see like that there are still kids that do more than just play Roblox and stuff like that. So that was cool. And that was super inspiring. And I could see every time I ran around the track, like they were looking at me, and they were kind of like, okay, like this is a grown up, but he's running just like me, So that felt like it was an opportunity to kind of project like things that you don't normally see in our community. Is like adults running really hard on the track. So that was cool. I didn't have those experiences growing up. So that was cool to see. So it was super fun. It was a super fun track session.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's cool. Especially be able to like show those kids, that, I'm still working hard. We all got goals. This isn't just maybe in their mind that, who are you? You could be somebody in college. You could be a pro. They don't know, right? But they just know you're out there working hard. Like, oh, I can still do that. That's something to kind of look forward to attain, as they work up their career through, would you say tenure, middle school, high school, wherever they want to go. I mean, they could be the next Quincy. What's his name?
Quincy Wilson.
Quincy Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's talent all over the place. So to see them putting the work in and doing it the right way was really cool. It's I would say it's a highlight of my training block so far. So
nice.
Really, really enjoyed that. So Gary, you want to break into some Runners Anonymous? You want to get into some of the I'm not sure how many messages we have or if we have any, but I've got one queued up if you want to go with that, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I think we got a couple on. One of them is not on the PR project, though, right?
Right.
Is that the one you got queued up?
That's the one I got queued up.
All right. Let's do that one first, and then we'll see what else we got here. I see a couple here.
So just a quick refresher for those who don't know. We're testing out this new segment called Runners Anonymous, where you can send a voice memo to the PR Project's Instagram page, anything running adjacent, anything that you want to talk about with us about running, about life, about your annoying friends, whatever. We're here to talk. So we've got a few messages. We'll offer our feedback, offer whatever, and we'll go with it. So we'll go with this message first, and we'll go from there.
what do you think the best test or simulator is for the marathon? Is it a cut down run, like long mileage cut down run, or is it?
Give me 1 moment. Times 2 is a little fast. That might
Yeah.
So let's try it. Let's try it again. We'll start it from the top.
What do you think the best test or simulator is for the marathon? Is it a cut down run, like long mileage cut down run, or is it hitting your goal paces for a certain distance? Like, what would y'all recommend as like the ideal monthly or towards the end of a bulky build simulator for your goal marathon pace?
I think that is an outstanding question.
Yeah.
And I think it gets an outstanding answer from me. That is one of my favorite answers to questions related to running. It depends. And I will get into why I say it depends. But Gary, if you'd like to take the floor, go ahead.
I do like this question because I think there's a couple of different ways throughout the course of your marathon training where you can kind of test out your speed here. Tempo runs are one thing. Like a tempo run right away. That'll tell you first couple of weeks out, you do a tempo run with your goal marathon pace. That'll tell you if you're on track or not right away. I think I've all seen folks on Instagram who are, my tempo run didn't go very well today. I was off by X amount of, seconds or minutes. And that's a good time to go back and kind of recalculate, what you want your goals to be. And as your training goes longer and longer, you're going to get, longer tempo runs. And hopefully, like if you're in the midst of like week 11 or week 9 and you're doing like an 8-mile tempo run, you should be there already, But for me, a simulator is, in my mind, is a half marathon or a 10-mile race that mimics the course as best as you can find, which is not always easy. Especially if it's a hilly marathon, it's got a lot of elevation. But definitely trying to get yourself into a literal race type situation. Practice your fueling, practice your pacing, practice, weaving around traffic, hitting your tangents. At the end of the day, that's going to be, for me anyway, how I would build up getting prepared for a marathon simulator.
Yeah, for sure. And I say it depends because everybody is at a different point of their running journey. I think for a newer, more novice type runner, a 10-mile race would be a good place to kind of test out how you may feel on race day. Also, even a 10K, getting out there and running at a pace that you think may be somewhere close to what you'll do on race day is a good idea. Also, in a long run, if you're still early in your running journey, but you are training for, say, your first marathon, and your goal is to just finish, pushing your long run to more than 12, 14, 16, starting to get that long run closer to 2.5 hours, maybe. For a lot of people, that'll be the longest run they've ever done in their lives. But I feel like that's a good way to kind of prove to yourself that you're capable of going long distances. You're capable of withstanding and staying strong through the adversity of a long run. And then you don't even have to think about pace, really, if you're just trying to cover the distance.
Right.
So if you've put in a lot of work in the training block and you've done what you're, I'm not going to say what you're supposed to do because everybody's supposed to do something different. But if you've done an adequate amount of work, that those long runs 4, 5, 6 weeks out from the race should be pretty lengthy. You should be practicing fueling. You should be practicing with the shoes that you're going to wear, the gear you're going to wear. All of that stuff should come into play. And I think it'll give you a good idea of what's to come for the marathon as a beginner or as a first timer. And then if you are a little more experienced, I think a long tempo is a great way to kind of check the temperature. Like you said, a half marathon simulator race. So you put a bib on, you put a kit on, you put your race shoes on, you go through your pre-race routine, you figure out what you need to do as far as fueling, figure out what you need to do as far as hydration, all of that stuff. You're checking off those boxes, and then you take that goal pace out to test it out, and you see how it feels, and you're honest with yourself, because a lot of times we aren't honest with ourselves, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if that half marathon felt like, okay, if you've ran the half marathon at your goal marathon pace and you feel like, okay, I could have definitely went longer, then you know you're in the right ballpark. But if you get to the end of that race and you're spent and you feel like you've given it all you got, you might want to think about making some adjustments, but also take into account what's going on in training up to that point, because
Right.
you're probably running on tired legs. You probably had a workout that week, so you'll have taper time. You'll have an opportunity to let the legs kind of recover a bit before the main race. But that half marathon is a good way to check. I've ran a half marathon simulator before the last 3 or 4 marathons I've ran, and it hasn't really been indicative of what I can do. So it's not always a guarantee.
Right.
It's a cool way to kind of mentally remind yourself that you're capable and you're able to do it. So and then, or if you could be like a crazy person like Joe Robinson today, and he just ran 20 miles at goal marathon pace.
Yeah.
And he's still a couple months out from his from one of his goal races. So everybody has different philosophies. Everybody has different angles, but the idea is to do something that is going to push you and expose you to that goal marathon pace, but you want to make sure that you can recover from it because there's still training to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not going to taper for a marathon, half marathon simulator race, like you mentioned, or a 10-mile race. It's still in the middle of training season. But kind of for a lot of my training plans, I haven't raced at all in the middle of a block. So to kind of get that simulator in there, it's blocks are 3+ months long. So to get in there and do a race towards the end, even though I've raced plenty of races, it's still kind of good to kind of, get that itch done so you can get the kind of settle the nerves a little bit more going into the big race for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely, it's not ideal to walk up to a marathon start line and that's your first race that you've done in 3 or 4 months, because racing is a skill and you have to develop that skill. Racing is a specific kind of experience. And if you are not familiar with that feeling, then you can do some silly things out there. You can get out too quick. You can get out too aggressively, just from the energy of a race. So exposing yourselves to the elements and the atmosphere of a race, it goes a long way. It goes a long way towards normalizing that in your mind. So if you can find a race, whether it's local or maybe you travel for it, if you can find something that lines up with your marathon, I would absolutely suggest that you do that. So we've got a chat question. The first paper says, how do you unleash your hidden energy?
That's a good question. I mean, hidden energy could mean a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So, like we talked about sleep earlier, getting a good rest, fueling properly. Some people like to say that they have, it's all mental. So perhaps, they can train and work hard, but at the end of the day, it all comes from what the mind says will give them. For me, it's going into a race knowing that I'm healthy and that I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I'm at the start line, and to remove all doubts, get rid of all the negative thoughts, and just focus on the fact that I trained hard for this, and I'm gonna run as best I can. Some days you hit the wall and that's fine, but other days when you're flying, it's because you did everything right. And so for me, that's just a good focus on the start line, knowing I've done everything I could possibly do to get here, in the right fitness and health wise.
I agree. My confidence, because I feel like a lot of your hidden energy comes from your confidence and your belief in yourself. So, personally, my confidence comes from knowing that I did the work. Because race day, like you said, it's a crapshoot sometimes. You know, it's not always guaranteed. Well, it's never guaranteed, and it's not always. It doesn't always go the way that you plan. It quite often, it very rarely goes the way that you plan. So, yeah, like you said, just getting to the start line, knowing that you've done everything you can do, knowing that you've turned every stone, that you've crossed every T and dotted every I to the best of your ability, and just go from there. So the hidden energy could come from the self-belief and the confidence that you could accomplish the task at hand. And then, you know, you fuel up and you try to make it work.
Hey, I forgot to mention this. I think the Olympics start in 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, the
But the
opening
track-
ceremony is Friday.
But the track doesn't start until the next week, right?
Yeah.
So I asked this. I think Tommy had like asked me questions, whatever. He didn't respond because he's rude. But I asked this to him. Aside from the running events, and I know you had mentioned basketball earlier, but what other events are you looking forward to watching when the Olympics come up?
Breakdancing.
Thank you. That's the right answer.
This is the first year of breakdancing in the Olympics, and I gotta see it.
Yeah.
I gotta see it. I gotta see how crazy things can get. But also, maybe gymnastics to see if Simone Biles can be. She can reclaim her title. Let's see what else.
I think watching. I like to watch the swimming because it's more of a race type thing.
Yeah.
And the way they have those underwater cameras, you can see them when they touch that board. Just kind of adds to the excitement and drama of the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I enjoy that.
Yeah, swimming is, and it's very similar to running, obviously, because they're racing and they're pushing themselves and they're unbelievable athletes. So I think it's really fun to watch them because it's so foreign to me because I've never competitively swam or have like it's like a glimpse into a world that you don't see. So that's really cool. And yes, they're drama filled because especially like the medleys and like the relays and stuff. It's just like
yeah.
Geez, like these people are crazy people, you know, like
and
they just stand up there
when they're doing like the butterfly or the breaststroke. That's hard.
Yeah.
Like that's hard just to do like as a joke, you know, like, let me try this. So the fact that watching these athletes do that is amazing because that is not easy at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. So do you have any other Runners Anonymous queued up, Gary?
I do.
I say we do one more because we're going to get out of here in a timely fashion since Tommy's not here. So
all right, here we go.
Careful. We're going to keep it anonymous. So
as long as they kept an eye. I've not heard this.
Face your phone for you just so we can keep it anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, real friends, if you're ever running with your friends and you get dropped, just know that that's your real friend. Because real friends will drop you. It's tough love. You know what I mean? They care about you. I was on a run today with my friends and I got dropped. And I was thinking like, man, these dudes really care about me. You know, to teach me a tough love lesson like this and drop me on the long run, I appreciate it, you know? So real friends drop each other. Don't take it personal.
Hey, he's not wrong. You know, as long as the friends are there when you get there, you know.
Yeah, as long as they don't drop you and then pull off and like go home and leave you wherever you ran, that's crazy. That's insane behavior. But
like don't just leave and like go hang out at the coffee shop afterwards. Like, oh, sorry, we would have invited you, but you weren't here. I thought you heard us talking about it. No? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
That's crazy. Being the friend that used to get dropped all the time, I agree. You have to kind of understand that it's not personal, but it still feels kind of trash sometimes to get dropped, especially on like a long run.
Yeah.
But it builds character, you know, good character development.
I mean, I remember going back to my college days where I'd get dropped, and it wasn't like a, hey, see you later. It was that slow, gradual. You're just not quite keeping up. You're a few steps behind, and then next thing you know, they're like a quarter mile ahead of you, and you don't even know what happened. It's just they're gone, and they weren't like, again, it wasn't a mean thing. It was just you just couldn't quite keep up, and yeah, it's the worst. It really is. It's just
I remember I trained for like 4 months for this marathon, and I trained with the same person the entire time. And our goal was to, try to stick together as long as possible. And I got dropped at about mile 18. It was very humbling. It was very unfortunate. He just got smaller and smaller out in the distance, and I really resented him for about 5 minutes out there on the course. I'm not gonna lie. It was in the Pacific Northwest. It was beautiful, beautiful course, absolutely beautiful.
Could he be talking about me? Well, it makes you feel any better. I slowed up quite a bit after,
and I still didn't catch you. So that just shows you what it is. Marie says sometimes you got to pop back up on a city bike. Like, hey guys, thought you dropped me, didn't you? You didn't know this is my duathlon training day.
That's a good one. Oftentimes though, I've been like, I remember I used to think, if there's some kid with a skateboard that comes past me, that is mine. Like I'm going to catch up to these guys. This sucks.
Yeah. So I think moral of the story is don't take it personally when you're dropped, especially if you raced the day before the long run and then you run a long run with your friends and you get dropped because you raced the day before. It's not meant for you to kind of keep up on a long run if the people that you're running with didn't race the day before and you raced the day before and you ran a 5K PR the day before. So, it's just.
I will say in all seriousness, if you find yourself in a group setting where you kind of lose track of the group, don't not go back. Just keep hanging with the group, kind of measure yourself, measure how well you're doing, progressing week by week. Because, I've seen it with you, I've seen it with Ern, I've seen it with other folks who just week by week, they come back and then we're all running together now because it's how you learn. I love running with people faster than me because I have something to look at and say, hey, I got to get up to here, So please, if you find yourself in a situation, or if you're the person who's breaking away, make sure that afterwards you kind of you circle up with everybody and say, hey, great run, come back next week. You did really well out there. Praise them up, let them know that you appreciate them getting out there, and welcome them back because that'll help a lot. It'll help with their running. It'll help with your running, really too. So, keep at it.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely cool to have aspirational influences around you. So if there are people that you want to run with or that you currently run with that you feel like maybe you just aren't as fit as you need to be to stay with them, that's a great motivating factor to keep going and keep working and keep showing up because eventually, your time is coming. If it's meant to be, then you'll continue to progress. You'll continue to get faster. You'll be able to hold that pace for a little bit longer, and eventually things should work out in your favor. So, and like you said, if you're on the other end of it and you're running with people that may not be able to keep up every time you run, don't hesitate to give them positive reinforcement and let them know that they're still, even though they aren't, running as fast, they're still putting in just as much as work. And the work that they're doing is just as important as the work you're doing, because this running thing can be exclusionary at times. It's a very solo endeavor, but when we come together as a group and as a community and lift each other up, it makes the entire thing so much better for everybody. So don't hesitate to offer words of encouragement, because I promise you, the people, they'll appreciate it. It'll go a long way.
For sure. For sure. And that's why we're all doing these group runs anyways, to, run together and I have these moments like this. So
Yeah, we want our Disney movie moment
yeah.
when we finally finish the marathon and beat the time that we've been trying to do. And
we all get first places.
Yeah, we all get first places and we all get like put up on the shoulders and, slow montage of our training block goes by and it's just really beautiful. They play the sad music and all that good stuff.
One of these days.
All right. So before we head out, just a quick update. We did skip last week. So that means we skipped a Puma shoe giveaway last week.
Yeah.
We also had unfortunately, some technical difficulties this week due to, laptops being stolen and things like that, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe the Microsoft outage did something, but we will be giving away
for sure.
On Instagram this week. So keep an eye out for that. If you are not signed up for the giveaway, just follow the PR Project on Instagram, join the Summer of Speed on Strava, the group, and post your runs, post your training, and you'll get added to the list. I think we have about 100 names on the list as of now, and we've still got, I believe, 8 pair of shoes to give away. So there are still plenty of shoes. Go ahead, Gary.
I said we're going to do two giveaways this week.
Yep. So this week we'll be giving away 2 pair of shoes. If you are on the list, then you are already you will be notified if you win, if you don't catch the live. So we will be giving away 2 more pair of Puma Deviate Nitro 2s.
Yep.
Nitro 3s.
3s. Yes.
Nitro 3. So we'll be doing that this week. So keep an eye out. And we'll be back at our regularly scheduled time, hopefully with our full complement of talent next week at Sunday at 8 p.m. per usual. So thank you guys for tuning in. Also, on your favorite podcast platform, search the PR Project, follow us, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, all of that good stuff, all of the stuff that the podcast influencers say. We're trying to get as much following and traction as possible so we can continue to bring these beautiful streams and podcasts to an airwave near you. So, Gary, got any closing thoughts?
No, it's really good talking to you because with my injury, I don't get to see you guys as much as I used to. So I'm glad everybody's doing well out there. Next Sunday, the Olympics start next Sunday, right? So, or at least the opening ceremonies. So maybe we'll do some live play-by-play at the same time. That's always fun as long as NBC doesn't, find us out first.
Yeah,
we should be good.
No copyright strikes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to everybody in training. Fall marathon training is ramping up, so I hope everybody is staying healthy. I hope everybody is having a good time. Happy running. It's me, Aaron Worldwide. Follow me on Instagram, all of that cool stuff.
I'm Gary as a runner. I'm also on the social medias.
Yep, you can find the hottest of hot takes on Gary's Instagram page, Gary as a runner. So keep an eye out for that.
I guess I'm still coming on after today.
We shall see. And also, if you want to submit a voice memo for Runners Anonymous, send a DM to us on Instagram, the.pr.project, and we will be sure to get to those as soon as possible. So we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Shout out. Safe travels to Tommy. He'll be back next week.
Probably.
As long as Boeing doesn't. All right. See you guys.